While Donald Trump threatens allies and imposes tariffs, Canada just quietly started building the largest trade alliance in modern history. And the United States is not invited. According to Politico, the European Union and a 12-nation Indo-Pacific bloc are opening talks to explore forming one of the largest global economic alliances. And according to multiple sources familiar with the talks, Canada is the lead champion. Prime Minister Mark Carney is spearheading the discussions to create a trading bloc of 1.5 billion people, and America is on the outside looking in. This is not theoretical. This is happening right now. According to Politico reporting from February 16, 2026, the European Union and the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership are starting negotiations this year. And according to sources cited by Politico, HNGN, IB Times, Weekly Voice, and multiple other outlets, Canada under Mark Carney is driving this effort. Let me tell you what this means. According to the reporting, the talks would link EU supply chains with CPTPP members, including Canada, Singapore, Mexico, Japan, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Australia. That is nearly 40 nations on opposite sides of the globe working together on what is called rules of origin. And according to Politico and other sources, rules of origin determine a product's economic nationality. A deal would enable lower friction trade through accumulation, allowing manufacturers to move goods and parts more seamlessly across participating frameworks in a lower tariff workflow. Think about what that means practically. A car part could be made in Japan, shipped to Canada for assembly, sent to Germany for finishing, and qualify for low tariffs throughout the entire process. Supply chains that cross borders multiple times would face fewer barriers. Manufacturing that spans continents would become more efficient. And all of it would happen without the United States. According to HNGN and IB Times reporting, the proposed alliance aims to create a massive trading bloc of nearly 1.5 billion people. And according to those same reports, Carney's strategy calls on middle powers to join forces to resist economic coercion. That is not subtle. That is Canada saying we are building alternatives to dependence on the United States. Now, let me tell you how this started. According to Politico and Weekly Voice, Carney framed the initiative at the World Economic Forum in Davos last month. And according to the reporting, he told leaders that Ottawa is championing efforts to connect the CPTPP and the EU in a new trading bloc of 1.5 billion people. According to PIIE analysis and Politico reporting, Carney said intermediate powers like Canada are not powerless and have the capacity to build a new order that encompasses their values. So at Davos, while Trump was threatening Greenland and imposing tariffs, Carney was building alliances. And according to the reporting, it worked. According to Politico, the origin accumulation push has been gestating since at least last November, when the EU and CPTPP resolved to combine forces against fragmentation of free trade following Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. Liberation Day, remember that? According to all the reporting, that was April 2025 when Trump announced comprehensive tariffs, claiming they would liberate American workers. And according to the verified data we already documented, 72,000 manufacturing jobs were lost in the 8 months after Liberation Day. But Liberation Day did liberate something. It liberated Europe and Asia from believing they could rely on the United States. And now they are building alternatives. According to Politico, Carney's government has moved into outreach mode. Earlier this month, he sent his personal representative to the EU, John Hannaford, to Singapore to solicit regional leaders' views. And according to a Canadian government official quoted by Politico, the work is definitely coming along. We have had very fruitful discussions with other partners. So this is not aspirational. This is operational. Canada has officials traveling to Singapore. Canada has representatives meeting with EU officials. Canada has active discussions happening with partners across continents. And according to Politico, inside the EU, enthusiasm exists. A senior business representative briefed on EU thinking said some officials are super keen. Now, according to that same Politico reporting, an EU official confirmed the idea sits within the broad scope of EU CPTPP cooperation, while not part of the priority for actions for now. So there is some hesitation, but according to Weekly Voice, European business organizations are increasingly vocal in supporting closer EU CPTPP trade coordination. The German Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the British Chambers of Commerce have expressed support for simplifying rules and improving cross-block supply chain integration. And according to Weekly Voice, a Japanese trade official described an agreement on rules of origin as an interesting avenue to explore. Diplomats from other CPTPP countries have indicated that serious conversations are now taking place. So the momentum is building. Germany supports it, Britain supports it, Japan is interested, and Canada is coordinating it all. According to Raw Story reporting citing Politico sources, there are nearly 40 countries interested in the talks. Nearly 40 countries. Think about what that represents. The European Union has 27 members. CPTPP has 12, including Canada, Japan, Australia, Singapore, Mexico, Vietnam, Malaysia, Chile, Peru, Brunei, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. That is 39 countries working together. And according to Read the Peak analysis, this bypasses the United States while aiming to link EU and CPTPP supply chains. So products made with parts from either bloc can qualify for low tariffs and move easily across nearly 40 countries. Now let me connect this to what is happening with the United States. According to IB Times and HNGN, this comes as Canada faces aggressive tariffs and disputes over border infrastructure from the White House. According to reporting we already verified, Trump threatened to block the Gordie Howe Bridge that Canada paid for. Trump is considering withdrawing from USMCA. Trump imposed tariffs that Congress voted against. And according to all this reporting, Canada looked at that pattern and said, we need alternatives. According to HNGN, with the US becoming an unpredictable partner, Canada's pivot towards Europe and Asia appears to be a necessary survival strategy. And according to Weekly Voice, the idea of closer EU CPTPP cooperation gained momentum after rising tariff threats from Washington. Trump imposed or threatened tariffs on several allies, including Denmark, and has pushed for stronger economic leverage over partners. In response, several middle-sized economies are exploring ways to deepen trade diversification and reduce reliance on the United States. So Trump's tariffs created the urgency. Trump's threats created the motivation. Trump's unpredictability created the necessity. And Carney seized the opportunity. According to Read the Peak, the talks follow Carney's World Economic Forum speech, calling for the world's middle powers to band together in the face of economic coercion. Economic coercion. That is what Carney called Trump's tariff policies. Not trade strategy, not negotiation, coercion. And according to the conservative Treehouse analysis and Politico reporting, there is something crucial that most coverage is missing. For Canada to commit to a trade agreement with different rules of origin than USMCA, the dissolution of USMCA would need to be in the works. You cannot have two incompatible trade frameworks. So if Carney is seriously pursuing this EU CPTPP alliance, he is preparing for a world without USMCA. He is preparing for the United States to withdraw or for Canada to withdraw. According to the conservative Treehouse, USMCA Article 3210 requires a party intending to negotiate a free trade agreement with a non-market country to inform other parties at least 3 months prior. So if Canada is negotiating this alliance, Canada would need to notify the United States unless Canada believes USMCA is ending anyway. And here is where it gets really interesting. According to reporting we already verified, Trump is privately asking aides why he should not withdraw from USMCA. The House voted to terminate Canada tariffs. Trump threatened the Gordie Howe Bridge. And Bloomberg reported Trump considers USMCA withdrawal. So Canada is looking at all those signals and building an insurance policy. An insurance policy that connects 1.5 billion people across nearly 40 countries while excluding the United States. According to PIIE analysis, such activism is not confined to middle powers. The CPTPP began as an agreement among Singapore, New Zealand, Chile, and Brunei. The United States joined with the objective of making it comprehensive, but was unable to win approval by Congress. Ultimately, the partnership included Japan, which saw the agreement through to adoption by 11 members, who then added the United Kingdom. So the CPTPP already exists and functions without the United States. And now Canada wants to connect it to the European Union. According to PIIE, the collective heft of the EU members' economies and its deep bench of trade policy expertise means the European Union could exercise a key role in crafting a new trade order. It would have to ally itself with like-minded countries, middle-sized and small. And according to that analysis, acting together, these 39 countries have the capacity to begin to construct the trade part of the New World Order. New World Order, that phrase used to mean the United States leading global institutions. Now it means the world organizing without America. According to Read the Peak, Canada is looking to broker a deal to bring over a third of the world's global trade under one roof. Over a third, and the United States would be outside that roof. Now think about what this means for American workers and businesses. According to the reporting, if this alliance forms, manufacturers in those 39 countries could source parts from each other and move goods more efficiently with lower tariffs. American manufacturers would not have that advantage. American workers would be competing against integrated supply chains spanning 3 continents while operating in isolation. According to Dean Blundell analysis, citing Politico and Axios, the EU is America's largest trading partner. CPTPP members collectively account for over 13% of global GDP. Together, an EU CPTPP integrated bloc would rival or exceed U.S. economic weight, so this is not a minor realignment. This is a fundamental restructuring of global commerce with America on the outside. And according to that analysis, Carney's framing of middle power coordination is economic but has geopolitical implications. Each retaliatory threat validates the need for diversification. The more volatility from Washington, the more incentive partners have to integrate elsewhere. So Trump threatening tariffs makes this alliance more necessary. Trump threatening USMCA withdrawal makes it more urgent. Trump's unpredictability makes it inevitable, and Canada is uniquely positioned to bridge these blocks. Carney's strategy is not to isolate America. It is to ensure Canada is never isolated by it. This is not about punishing the United States. This is about hedging against unpredictability. If Europe and the Indo-Pacific align, rules of origin supply chains become transcontinental and less hostage to any single capital or government. According to all the reporting we have verified, Canada signed 12 trade deals in 6 months. Canada is negotiating this EU CPTPP alliance. Canada imposed $155 billion in counter tariffs. Canada is considering canceling F-35 purchases. And now Canada is positioning itself as the bridge between Europe and Asia while America isolates itself. This is not reactive. This is strategic. And according to the reporting, it is working. Germany supports it. Britain supports it. Japan is interested. 40 countries are in discussions. And Carney is coordinating it all. According to Politico, if this framework materializes, the United States faces measurable exposure. American businesses losing market access. American workers losing competitive advantage. American influence declining as the world organizes without us. This is what happens when you treat allies like adversaries and partners like enemies, when you impose tariffs on partners, when you threaten bridges they built, when you consider withdrawing from trade agreements. The allies do not beg you to stay. They build alternatives. And once those alternatives exist, once supply chains reorganize, once 40 countries integrate their economies, rebuilding what was lost takes decades.